volume up any higher than they need to hear. That helps reduce the feedback also.
Okay. All right.
Debbie, you're now live.
Thank you. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. We are in the Consolidated Plan Advisory Committee virtual meeting. It is 11 a.m. and I think I am going to try to show my participants to take some sort of agenda for our meeting minutes. Let's see, Diane Corso is here. Hi, Diane. Executive Director, I'm not sure what organization that's from.
Brenda Cronin with the Mental Health and Recovery Board.
Hi, thank you for joining us. Greg Volz is in our planning department. He's our organizer today. Chief Oliver, Police Chief. Jason Whirling, Superintendent of our Rec Department. Jeffrey Berquist, he is a CPAC member. Jonathan Holliday, our Community Development Director. Mary Beer, Erie County, I'm sorry, I think we have you here, I'm sorry. And Mike Zuloff is with our Planning Commission. He is part of our CPAC committee as well. So these are, and Sharon Johnson is a CPAC member in our committee chambers. She's exercising her right to be in the chambers today. Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
Okay, so basically we've got our attendance. I think that everybody is kind of used to these meetings. We are going to start our planning process for the 2021 Annual Action Plan. It's an update to our 5-year consolidated plan. So basically, I'm going to just say what the guidelines are and the overview of eligible activities. The city of Sandusky is an entitlement city, which means we directly receive an allocation of funds from HUD to carry out selected activities within the community. Under this grant, there are certain requirements which cannot be exceeded. In general, these include a maximum of 20% of the allocation be expended on administration and planning expenses, and a maximum of 15% of the allocation be expended on public services during the program year. Also, a minimum of 70% of the funds must benefit low to moderate income persons or households. All of the funds must meet one of the 3 national objectives, which include low to moderate income benefit, elimination of slum and blight, or community urgent need. Basically, the city anticipates an allocation of approximately $740,000 for the 2021 program year. The program year begins June 30th of this year, 2021, and ends July 1st of 2022. The next pages include the timeline for plan submittal and a recap of the 2020 Annual Action Plan. So right now, we are in our first CPAC meeting for the Annual Action Plan. I know that we did meet earlier this month, but that was for a substantial amendment that passed through City Commission last night. So tonight is our first virtual CPAC meeting. Today also, we are going to have sub-recipient applications available for our service activities. March 22nd, we're going to have our first public hearing. At this point, it's a virtual meeting, but we never know. So it is scheduled for a public hearing. Sub-recipients applications will be due on March 29th. And barring everything goes as planned and we all, come to an agreement on the needs of the plan, we will have a draft plan available for review and comment on March 31st. So this would begin our public comment period, and that's pretty much stretching it to the limit to meet the HUD deadline for submittal. March 31st, we will also meet again, CPAC, tentatively virtual. April 29th, the 30-day public comment period ends. May 10th, we will have our second public hearing with City Commission. May 10th also, the annual action plan will be considered by City Commission and final action will be requested. So we have a lot to do in this short period of time. And May 14th is a Friday. That is the last day that we can submit to HUD. May 15th is usually the deadline, but obviously we'd like to get that in on Friday, not knowing that they accept anything on Saturdays. So once the fiscal year 21 annual action plan has been approved by HUD, the Sandusky City Commission shall approve each subrecipient agreement prior to funds being expended. And the next thing on the agenda is the recap of the 2020 annual action plan, which basically has not changed because we have not made a draw since January. So January was our last draw. We intend to do another draw quickly, soon. So this would include anything from July 1 through December 31st. So program administration, we were approved for $147,905. We have spent down $23,633.15, leaving a balance to spend by June 30th of $124,271.85. Fair Housing has only submitted $3,000 of expenses, so we have $7,000 left in that fund. Public Facilities, we've drawn down $52,880.27, leaving a balance of $217,119.73. I can say that they've got some projects, some big projects coming up in spring, including not a demolition, but a shoreline erosion and a Camp Street resurfacing project, both of which will probably meet that number of $217,000. Clearance and demolition, the demolitions were completed or the structures were taken down in December. So they are going to submit their final invoices once the final seeding and grading and planting of the grass is done. So that will expend that $110,000, $396. Acquisitions, we have spent the $50,000 down, but we did get approved last night for a transfer of funds from the revolving loan fund of $100,000. So we will have hopefully another couple of acquisitions before the end of this program year. Code enforcement, we've spent down $64,484.20, leaving $81,545.80. And youth programming, we spent that down, quite quickly, so they don't have any budget left in the normal fiscal year 21 annual action plan. So right now, we do have a balance of $540,000, $333.38 that's going to be spent down. We'll notice that difference in the next meeting because we do intend to do another draw in March. So CV funding is separately funded and will not be tied to the 2021 annual action plan. We will always have that budget available for anyone that wishes to see it. The first round of funding, CV1, in the amount of $437,000, $437,328 was included in the fiscal year 20 action plan. And the second round of CV funding, which was approved to apply for in the City Commission meeting last night, is $184,723. And that was included in the substantial amendment. So that will go into the 2020 action plan as a separately funded category entitled CV. Subrecipient applications are going to be available on our website after this meeting, beginning Tuesday, February 9th. As stated above, a maximum of 15% of our allocation can be funded for public services. So at this point of the meeting, that is all that I really had to go over. The most important part of this meeting, obviously, is to get the views of this body and see what we can do to implement anything necessary in the 2021 program. So I'll open it up for anybody that wants to unmute themselves and comment, and all these comments will be documented. Thank you. Jeff, you've got a lot of feedback, Jeff. I apologize. Is there something that we can do to have you call in, or maybe use the chat bubble at the top? There's just a lot of feedback on your end. I don't know if you can hear it or not. And you are muted at this point, Jeff. I am not sure what that feedback is. Is there a way, Jeff, that we can contact you via phone or use the dial-in number, or using the chat bubble at the top? The round button? Okay, thank you. And we can take anyone else's comments at this, while he's getting his comments ready.
Debbie, can you hear me?
Is now joining.
Debbie?
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
I certainly can.
Okay, I'll start out here. After we met last time on the administration, CDBC on the amendments, that was, I think 2 weeks had passed. And I was wondering, did you send the comments right to the commissioners so they knew our comments before the commission meeting last night? Did you do it right away, or did you wait for a while, or?
So they were read in the public hearing portion. So.
Okay, was that the first time the commissioners got that? Was during the?
Yes, yes. The comments that you wrote out to me, yes.
I wish they would have gotten that right away. Those comments would have been passed along right away, so they would have had 2 weeks to maybe do an adjustment on that amendment if they had to, because they kicked the can down the road on that. They said it was too late to change anything, and that was unfortunate. So they said, well, we'll kind of look at those in 2021. It's all right to have public meetings, but if you don't listen to the people, and I know why you have the public meetings is because it's required by CDBG, but you must listen to the people also. That's a real big concern for me. Next is this balance of $540,000 to be spent by June 30th. That's a lot of money to be spent by June 30th. Now, is that with all the commitments? That balance is with all the commitments hanging out there, the outstanding commitments to contractors or whatever?
Yes. So there are ordinances passed for all of the public facilities. So there is a Shoreline Drive erosion project. Off the top of my head, I do not remember that balance, but I believe it was maybe 90,000. So that will be done as soon as the weather permits. The demolitions will be complete. That will be another 110 that will be, that's already committed, and there's an ordinance for it. So we'll be spending that down. And then Camp Street resurfacing, that's another 88,000 that was approved, and that will be spent down when the weather permits and that job is complete. So those three specifically are the public service or I'm sorry, public facilities. We also have the fair housing consultant. He is due to send me another bill. He's got the $7,000 hanging out there. Code compliance, they continue to inspect the eligible areas. And then the
okay.
program administration.
Okay, so my point is that with all the commitments, you still have 540,000 hanging out there as a balance, correct?
With all the commitments, we're going to spend down the 540. So those include what we're going to draw down. We need to draw these bills down as we pay them. We just have not paid them yet.
Okay,
The projects aren't complete yet, so we
Okay.
have not been invoiced or paid those yet.
All right.
Okay?
now for my wish list. I'd like to see more demo money. We've been plugging in about 100,000. I don't know how many outstanding houses are out there waiting to be demoed that have been legally cleared for demo. Do you know that question, or the answer to that question?
I'm sorry, I do not.
Okay.
We would have to get probably with code compliance and see what their list consists of.
I'm just wondering if the 100,000 is keeping up with it all, or if we're still falling back. If we're short, I think we should add more money to the demo. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the street money, I understand that you can't do resurfacing for the CDBG street money. Is that correct? Is that still standing?
I don't know where that requirement falls. Did you hear that in a past meeting or?
That was maybe about a year ago, because we were asking for more streets to be done, and they said, we can do it if it's a total construction of the street, but not resurfacing. But I thought I saw resurfacing in one of your budgets. So if you can double check on that, and if we can
Yeah.
allow resurfacing, I'd like to see more money in the street money.
If you're specifically, since I've been in the job, if you're specifically talking about Camp Street, they are going to mill that down and then resurface.
And
So
that's
they are tearing the street out and then resurfacing. So if
okay.
that
So
answers-
why is that allowed? What difference is that? I'd like to get that clarified about the resurfacing, because
Okay.
Camp Street is the one I think I saw that on there, because I thought you were going to rip up the whole thing and redo the whole street, but you're just doing the resurfacing.
Well, it's more into that. They are cutting out the street as well. So, and then refilling it. So the description is in the activity for the substantial amendment. It was just a quick title to the activity, Camp Street resurfacing. So I will definitely get with you on that one with our Public Works Department.
Yeah, I would like to have clarification on that.
Certainly will.
Okay, that's all I think I have right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Deb, if I could just point out for the committee members' benefit, I wanted to make sure everyone realized that after our last CPAC meeting, we did adjust the budget that was then ultimately presented to the commission based on the feedback. So some folks may recall that we had initially proposed moving the full 130,000 of remaining economic development funding into the acquisition line item. And we got some really good feedback from this group that even though there is no demand right now, there could potentially be some demand for the economic development fund, and that we should leave a balance there. So we did ultimately accept that recommendation and leave about 31,000 in the fund, and only transferred 100,000 for acquisition, which was approved by the commission last night. So I did want everyone to know that we appreciated the recommendations and made those adjustments, and definitely appreciate everyone's time and feedback. So thank you.
Mr. Berkowitz, did you have an opportunity to dial in to submit your recommendations, or did we want to do that via in writing? Okay, thank you. Any other recommendations for the upcoming 2021 CDBG program year?
Deb, if I could just add that if anyone on the call has anything that they want to share with us after this call, you're welcome to. Deb and I are going to be working over the next couple weeks to prepare a draft proposed budget, then to share with this committee. But certainly you don't have to wait till our next meeting to reach out to Deb or I with any ideas that you may have. We've got a great opportunity here in Sandusky, but also a big responsibility to make sure we're using these block grant dollars in the best way possible. So feel free to reach out to Deb or I at any time, and we will definitely look forward to sharing a proposed budget to the group at the next meeting. I think we're going to have a really exciting year with the block grant coming up.
Debbie,
Okay, yeah, Sharon?
I wanted to add one more thing, my stickler
Okay.
here, on the salaries here. Are you considering doing something with that tremendous salary? Yeah, I know you're given 20% and you take the full 20%. Can we transfer some of that money to some other place? We don't need that much money for salaries. Are we looking at that too?
Yeah, that's very possible. We'll take that down as one of the recommendations of this committee.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Jonathan?
Mr. Holliday, just jump in
Okay,
there.
Yeah. I think we'll take it down as a recommendation from this particular person, Ms. Johnson. And I did want to just add that there are more than just salaries charged to the admin line item. So we do seek to recoup costs that the city incurs for the administration of the program. I think as everyone can imagine, we still have to be very cautious with the use of general fund dollars. And the block grant does provide us the opportunity to charge our expenses in administering the program to the block grant. So, but I definitely appreciate the comments that, if I could paraphrase that, to the extent possible, we do need to limit the amount of use of those dollars, and we'll certainly make sure that we're doing that.
And if I could just build on what Jonathan said, it's just a reminder that our community development department staff during the pandemic has gone from 10 to 5, and our general fund is hemorrhaged between last year and this year, being down about a total of $12 to $13 million in revenue. Some of that's being offset by stimulus dollars in the state's Bureau of Workers' Compensation. But the one thing that I ask Sharon and others to keep in mind is we are certainly the only community in Erie County that is putting any general fund dollars whatsoever towards housing programs through our Issue 8 Housing Development and Beautification Program, as well as economic development programs through the admission tax dollars from Issue 8, and probably one of only a handful in the entire state of Ohio that does so. So we are using both CDBG dollars and general fund dollars to make a difference in implementation in the community. And so while we will certainly take that comment into consideration, we have to balance our desire to put money on the street with all of the money that we're already putting on the street, the current financial circumstances of the city based on the pandemic, and then finally, the balancing act that we're already doing and being much more aggressive about neighborhood development and other types of development as compared to peer cities throughout the state.
Debbie? I remember a few years back, we plowed a lot of money into Lions Park. And then the 1 year came around and we were going to put some more money in there, and CDBG put the brakes on that and said that fell out of a criteria of theirs. With that in mind, how does...
Steve Pajali
Can you hear me?
is now joining.
Okay, so I'm looking at downtown area with all the development going on and the high price of the rents down there. Are we close to having downtown kicked out of the CDBG program? Have you inquired about that?
At this point, it is still within the eligible census tract. And I'm not sure that Lions Park is anymore. So it's an eligibility issue. I thought that Lions Park fell out of the eligibility track, the census tract. So
what's the criteria when they fall out?
the criteria is through HUD. So we get the maps through HUD of the eligible areas.
Okay, but we just wait for them to give us the high sign, or can you inquire about that? I would like to know, what the eligibility is. I don't want to be surprised and all of a sudden downtown's falling out of the area. That's a concern. Can you look into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can
Thank
get the
you. I
HUD
appreciate that.
eligibility.
Hey, Sharon, this is Steve Pajali. I haven't done that specific work for a while, but I always thought it was if the city was 51% low to moderate income, then the entire city falls in. I don't know if that's changed or not, but I thought they were 51% LMI.
Well, if that's the case, I don't understand why Lions Park was thrown out of the area then. That needs to be looked into.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to know if it's back into the area or what the deal is on Lions Park.
Yeah.
Debbie,
Yeah.
I believe that it is census tract driven anymore. So Lions Park is in a census tract that is no longer meets that eligibility, whereas downtown is within a census tract that does, and it might be even. So there's certain areas that are and certain areas that aren't, but we'll definitely check.
Yeah, the other thing about the downtown is you've got those high rises that kind of keep 408 in the LMI track because the incomes are all low in a lot of those high rises, so that kind of skews things. So I think that probably will stay in there for a while.
Okay, Debbie, I know the census figures in on this also. Did we ever get the results of our census yet? Because we thought maybe we weren't going to reach our goal and that we might lose CDBG funds. Do we know anything on that yet?
Yeah, I'll let Greg answer that one.
It looks like the census is not going to be releasing information until late summer, so we do not know the results of that yet.
Thank you.
So we did receive one written comment in the comments area of this chat. We would like to see continued funding for the Senior Center Meals on Wheels. So my comment to that would be that we are going to release the sub-recipient applications. So it will just be the same process that they go through any other year. So that's my answer to that one.
Debbie, when's the last for comments on this?
We haven't started the public comment period yet, so that will be the March 22nd public hearing through City Commission. That's when public comments, I believe, will start. Let me go back to my timeline here. 30-day public comment period, when the draft plan is available, that's when public comments will begin on March 31st. Now, this body, as Director Holliday stated, this body can comment to us at any time. If you come up with something that you see or that you find that might be more suitable for the plan, we're open to any comments you guys want, phone calls, emails, anything. This is different than the public comment period, okay?
And Debbie, before you take a draft to the commissioners, are we going to, as our group, our committee, will you meet with us to go over the draft before you give it to the commissioners? Because last year, we didn't have that chance.
Yeah, last year was a little different. I think with COVID, everything was kind of expedited. But we do have the second CPAC meeting is the 31st. And then the second public, and that's when the draft plan will be shown to everybody. So that's when the 30-day comment period begins. And then the second public hearing through City Commission is in May. So you've got March 31st all through April. But we do intend to try to ask for action in the meeting in May because the submission to HUD is due on the 15th of May, which is a Saturday, so we intend to submit on the 14th.
Okay.
I don't see any more written comments through the chat. And if nobody else has any other comments, I think we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. And I thank you all for participation, and we value your comments. So please get with us again if you feel any, if you have any other comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Bye, everyone.